Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another video of ours. This is the League of Ireland Premier Division preview show. Delighted to welcome Luke McQuillan and JP once again. Guys, how are you doing?
Oh, good.
What's the crack, lads? Just start.
Great stuff. Now, while I was away, the two of you done a good job as at Usheen hosting, so fair play to Ush as well. So cheers for that, lads, and fair play to you. I even watched the shows. But we'll start off with Shamrock Rovers in Europe. Shamrock Rovers will take on Molde at Tallaght Stadium. And obviously, Shamrock Rovers in the group are bottom at the moment with 1 point. But they're 3 points away from Molde and Ghent. So we know how good Rovers are at home in Europe. 2 defeats and 10 in the last 10 European games. They drew with Djurgårdens at home, who are top of the group, by the way, as well after 3 games. So they'll be thinking to themselves, maybe, well, we drew against them at home. They're top of the group now at 7 points, that we might give ourselves a chance against the likes of Molde. Now they're beaten well away from home. I watched that match when I was abroad as well, and it was a strange game because they didn't play what you would say is their best 11. They didn't put their best foot forward. I think in Europe that can be dangerous. They were well beaten, but you're thinking it could have been worse. But it's a big game for them because JP, they're still there. Let's say if they were to beat Molde on Thursday night, like they're right in it again, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the way the European games are done is whenever you play third, you play straight away after it. Like so, it means that the two teams that prior to the first game, the two teams that was running away with it,
Mm.
one of them can now be brought back into it. But because of the way the fixtures fall. With Shamrock Rovers going out there, as you touched on, we even touched it on the review show as well. They didn't, as you
Yeah.
say, put their best foot forward. And in Europe, and after the game and Sunday, Gaffney did touch on it, saying that Europe was a bonus, but the league was the bread and butter. So we kind of thought that anyway when we saw the lineup on Thursday night. But at the same time, the further you go in Europe, the more money you earn. Now, Rovers probably see it more beneficial winning the league to get another crack at it again next year than they do. Maybe seeing themselves getting out of the group and going after Christmas. But at the same time, you earn money for every win or draw you pick up. So, and it's touched on there, 2 defeats in their last 10 in Europe. I think one of them was the AC Milan. Can't remember who the other one was. So, Tala is a fortress for them, not just domestically, but also in Europe. And if they can get a win out of this game, where it's a lucky 1-0 off the backside of a defender, or
Mhm.
something like that, a win's a win. It'll put them right back in the hunt for that second spot, especially with Ghent taking on Gardens now. Um, for Shamrock Rovers, look, they would probably go and beat Molde, and Ghent would probably win the other game, and then they're back to possibly square one. But they have to give themselves every opportunity. They have to give themselves every opportunity to try and go as far as they possibly can. Now, it is a tough ask. They beat the likes of Molde, but look, the group leaders went to Talandry 0-0, and Shamrock Rovers could very easily have won that game. They very could have, and I don't see no reason why they can't at least give Molde a better game in front of their own fans.
Yeah, Luke. On the flip side, a defeat almost certainly knocks them out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it does. Yeah. Look, it'll be a tough one to turn around. Really. It's a big game for them, and I kind of want to see Rovers sort of go for it a bit. You know that type of way. Not the fact that we're playing them Sunday, but I would
Yeah,
like to see them go for it a bit. You know what I mean? And have a bit of a push at it because I think they are capable of getting results in this group. Look, I know the two away games they've played, look, and they were tough games and tough places to go to, of course. But when they're at home in Tallaght Stadium, they'll feel confident in themselves that any team that comes to Tallaght that they'll want to, regardless they're inside or outside the League of Ireland, um, they'll feel like they can get a result again. So they're probably capable as well of shock results and all that. When they sort of bring teams to Tallaght, obviously it's not very rare that you'd see them getting a shock result in Tallaght because every time they play at home, you're nearly expecting them Shamrock Rovers to win, and we're so used to seeing them winning, that type of way. But obviously it's European Conference League, it's a European competition. It's obviously going to be a lot different with the caliber of sides they're playing against. But Rovers on their day can give these teams really good games. So look, they were unlucky that night against Djurgårdens in Tallaght. They could have won that game. I feel like they sort of were the I think the only reason they didn't win that game that night was because it was their own sort of downfall. I think they just didn't push when they needed to push in that game when Jurgens were against the ropes. Rovers didn't really take that step forward. They sort of were nearly happy with the point, like. So yeah, look, I'd like to see them go for it on Thursday, and it'll be interesting to see what sort of 11 he goes with. I think you're mad not playing Gaffney in Europe as well, by the way. I think you're absolutely stone mad not to play Gaffney in Europe. If you want to get results in Europe, which I'm sure he does. Look, I know the main thing he'll want to look at is getting the league wrapped up, but you do have an opportunity there as well in Europe.
Prediction, Luke?
I'll go with a draw.
JP?
I'm going to say a draw as well, but I would like to see Rovers go for it. Not just from a Derry point of view, but this is the fourth time now that a League of Ireland team has made the group stages. I think on the other three occasions, our teams have finished bottom of the group. Dundalk got 4 points the first time they were there. Go try and win in front of your own fans. Try and Rovers were the first team to ever qualify for European group stages. Be the first team they not finish bottom of the group. Why not? Why not try and you might not get out of the group, but why not try and be record breakers if you don't get out of the group?
Yeah, full house. I'm going for a draw as well. On to Friday, and 2 games to the league on Friday, St. Patrick's Day and Bohemians. The bigger game as such is probably Harps and Dundalk. We'll get on to that in a minute. Few interesting things about this. First of all, I missed 2 bangers of Pats games last week, of course. I mean, the 4-4 draw would have been some vlog, to say the least. And obviously the win at Dundalk as well. So an interesting week for Pats. But I want to talk about Bohemians first of all, really. And obviously they were well beaten by Drogheda last week. When I say well beaten, statistically, if it was a boxing match, all that kind of stuff, they deserve to lose the game, But I suppose, JP, I'll start off with you. It's more to do with the managerial scenario at Bowes. We've seen Keith Ryan. Keith Ryan. That'd be interesting. He'll be going for the job next, lads. Keith Ryan for Bowes. Put your money on it.
I heard he's in for an interview in the morning.
At this stage, he'll be down your
At this stage, would it surprise you?
But it seems that Ian Ryan is the latest to turn down the job, and a number of high-profile people like Alan Reynolds and even Richard Dunn were in line for the job as well, and a lot of people were interviewed for this. It seems like they're back to square one, and I don't know, how are you seeing it at the moment, JP, at Bowes?
It's an absolute mess, to be honest with you. I think they sacked Keith Long without really having a plan of what they wanted to do going forward. When they sacked Keith Long and put Derek Pender and Trevor Crawley, you're possibly thinking they were going to give them the end of the season and then start the recruitment process.
Yeah.
But it looks like they were trying to recruit the new manager before the end of the season. So he could get a look at what he had and what he needed. And it's just become a mess because they've interviewed all these different people. They've offered it to this person. He's turned it down. So they've gone to this person. He's turned it down. And eventually, nobody wants it because they know that they're not the first choice. And I'm sure that in any industry, when somebody's offered something, players talk. Like, players talk when they're offered a move somewhere else. They talk. Managers talk. Any industry you're in, people that you're working in maybe a different sort of place from maybe your mate or whatever, and you're saying, we do it this way, we do it that way. Managers are probably talking the same. Well, I was offered that. That's right. Blah blah blah, and it's just become a mess. They're now back to start. They have to restart the recruitment process all over again, and who's going to want it at this stage? Basically, because whoever's being interviewed now will know that they weren't even considered the first time around. Whenever they got that new manager bounce against Shamrock Rovers, we always felt that that was going to be that there was not going to be anything coming off the back of it, that it wasn't going to be a springboard for Derek Pender or Trevor Crawley. They do anything about it. At this stage, I can possibly see that going into next season, Shamrock Rovers Bohemians are probably going to have Trevor Crawley in the dugout as a manager. He's done it before at Shamrock Rovers, and I can see that that's what's going to happen. And it
seems like JP, sorry to cut across, seems like JP, they interviewed 7-8 managers, right? 4 or 5 turned them down. But it seems to be they're not even actually considering Pender or Crawley. That's an interesting fact as well, isn't it?
It is, and it looks like it's going to turn out that they're going to be left, that they're going to be their only options. Because they've even went down as far as Wexford in the first division. They try and get a manager, and he's turned it down for whatever reason. Would right now, I don't know. Maybe you would have a reason. Maybe you would know the reason, but it's fine. And it's got to have an impact on the players as well, Keith. Like they haven't played well all season. The players, they didn't need an excuse for playing bad, but they've been absolutely given one now by the boys upstairs. That they, if they finish the season off poorly, that they can turn around and say, well, there was too much disruption coming from the boardroom for us to concentrate on the pitch. We know it was absolute shite, like, but players will do that. Players will if they feel that they can let the stick go elsewhere, they will try it.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. We'll see what happens there. But Luke, in terms of St. Patrick's Day, it's obviously a bigger game for them. On the back of beating Dundalk, there's only, what have we got? 4 games left. 4 games left, yeah.
4 games,
you would
yes.
like to think, from a Pat's point of view, that they should be beating Bohemians of Richmond Park the way both teams are going.
Yeah, you would, but it's the funny thing is, like, Pats are. I'm really interested to see, like, Pats are. These are big games now. They're all cup finals between now and the end of the season for St. Pat's, and if they can just, obviously, I feel like if Pats can do the job and do the business in the rest of their games that they have, then you would see them finishing third in the table, which would turn out to be an absolutely, I'd have to say, incredible season, considering the fact that only a couple of months ago everyone was calling for Tim to be thrown out of the club. Like, do you know what I mean? So it would be a good story. It'd be brilliant. I'd love to see Pats now go out and finish it. I'd love to see them finish in the top 3 because, you know, there's a lot of lads there from last season with Drogheda who are doing really well. Obviously, like Joe and Doyler, and Tim, obviously, of course. So it's brilliant to see, and I really hope that they can, you know, do the job. Especially for Tim, because obviously he has come under criticism quite a bit during the season. But if he finishes third with St. Pat's, then that's going to be, in my opinion, as big as an achievement as winning the cup last season, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, go on.
So yeah, look, if they could do that, it'd be unbelievable. So yeah, it's a big game. But look, seeing Bows last week, surprised. Like, I knew they were in a bad spot, but I didn't realize how bad a spot they were actually in. And
it's not until sometimes, Luke, isn't it? Not until sometimes you see a team in the flesh sometimes that you really realize how good maybe or how bad they are.
Yeah. First 5 minutes of the game, I thought, I was like, geez, they started well. They 1 or 2 decent half chances, and then just from then there was nothing. Very surprised, and even when, look, I know it sort of felt like Drogheda, it wasn't going to be Drogheda's night in the end, that they were going to get a point, and I wouldn't have been happy. Well, obviously, look, the point it would have been enough to stay up in anyways, but it wouldn't have been a great point. I think it would have been I think, considering the performance that Drogheda had, they could have went on and won the game 2 or 3 now, and that's, you know, down to the way Drogheda played, of course. But Bows just were poor going forward. In the midfield, they were bullied. Defensively, they were looking weak. The 2 fullbacks were getting roasted. So it's tough for Bows, and, you know, it's going to be even tougher now going to Richmond. And you know, I don't see them getting a result there, and I think Pats are going to roll on from last week, and what a win for them. And the performance in that from Pats probably wasn't. I've heard a few people saying it wasn't the greatest Pats performance, but it's 3 points away to Dundalk, and it's the first time Dundalk lost in the league this season. So it's brilliant for that to obviously be broken, to be honest. But
just a pity, from your point of view, it wasn't done the week before.
Yeah, it was. But look, it's been done, so it's done.
Well, Tim done it anyway for you. Prediction for this game, Luke?
I go 3-0 Pats, to be honest.
JP?
I think Pats are going to win this quite comfortably, Keith. I think they're going to go on it. They're going to be buoyed by that late one at Dundalk. There's going to be another spring in their step, I think. And they've put themselves right back on it, because if they'd lost that game, they were out of third. The race for third. If they'd drawn it, it was very much still in the balance. But I think now they're right back in it, and I think they will push Dundalk now to the very end for that spot.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to start with a comfortable one against Bows, and it looks at 3-0, and I think I'm going to agree with them.
And you know, can you just imagine even the Pats players just bouncing into training this week and it's not. It's sort of when you get a winner like that, it sort of nearly gives you another. Like obviously, there's 4 games left. Like, they're not going to need an awful lot of motivation, but that's going to give them a bit more of a kick. You know what I mean? Like, look what we were after doing the week before. Like, you know what I mean? We can beat anyone. Like, you know, and Pats are going to be really confident in themselves. Like, so it's probably going to breathe a new life, especially in the training ground, and then obviously in Richmond Park.
Yeah, I think they'll win it myself. Probably not 3-0 though. I'll go for 2-1, but it's one of them where I think if Pats get the lead, it's very hard to see Bows getting back into the game from my point of view. They're that type of team, unfortunately for them. They don't have that spirit. But we'll move on to Finn Harps and Dundalk, which is a bigger game as such, because obviously Dundalk are trying to get into that top 3 as well, and Harps are trying to, I suppose, maintain 9th in many ways, aren't they? Really, but they played 3 times this season. Dundalk have scored 7 and got 3 wins. Finn Harps haven't scored yet, so that doesn't bode well for Finn Harps. However, I don't think Dundalk were very impressive. You mentioned it, Luke, there, that I don't think it was brilliant Pat's performance on Friday. Like, they didn't play brilliantly to beat Dundalk either. It wasn't a great Dundalk performance overall either, in my opinion. So, like, Harps at home, I do fancy them having a chance here. It's obviously a massive, massive game for them. They'll be disappointed with the defeat in Derry, and obviously bit of circumstances with what happened in Donegal might have come into that as well. Like, you know, terrible tragedy, as mentioned on the show by JP and Oisin already. But it's a tough one. A lot of pressure on Dundalk, though, JP, going into this game as well, I think.
Aye, even more pressure because of what happened last week, and they're looking over their shoulder. They really are. Like, they 4 games to go, and this is one of the games where they will see themselves of needing to get 3 points. Because I was looking at Pats' fixture. Pats have 3 Dublin derbies, and I think Sligo in there, and Dundalk I think have Finn Harps, and I know they've Derry in the last game of the season. And just looking here, they've Sligo and Bulls as well. So in terms of difficulties, so the fixtures are quite similar, but this is a fixture that Dundalk have that some Pats won't have, so they have to make the most of it. Ballybofey, as we talked about, never an easy venue to go to. Finn Harps, they haven't played well all season, but they put in a spirited performance against Shelbourne in their last home game, where they'd be disappointed after taking the lead. They pass it up so easily and so quickly. But at the same time, if we saw some last ditch defending from them, they preserved the 1-1, and I think they're going to make it absolutely difficult for Dundalk. Like, we saw since the summer that teams with pace have exposed Dundalk quite easily, and I'm not sure if Finn Harps have that in their armour.
Mac Woods, probably it, really.
Probably, yeah. I don't think Mihailovic or Rob Jones or anybody, their forward players, I don't see them being able to expose that. I think Dundalk is a game where they could defend high and get away with it. And as you touched on, there's 3 wins already this season for Dundalk, and unfortunately for Finn Harps, I think this is going to be another one for them.
Yeah, look, I mean, from Finn Harps' point of view there, I think they're going to really have to watch Ryan O'Kane, because, as I said, Dundalk, Ryan O'Kane was the best player on the pitch, I think, arguably with Adam O'Reilly on the other day against Pats. He was brilliant in that game when he got on the ball. The second half, he couldn't get on the ball because Pats kind of dominated. I don't see Finn Harps really dominating Dundalk for long stages of the game, but very, very good player. He's really starting to impress now, and I think Dundalk will find it difficult actually to keep him next season. Can go left, he can go right. You're not sure what he's going to do. Great dribbling ability, and can finish. So it's funny because the 18-year-old is key to Dundalk's hopes in the last 4 games.
He's a huge player. You know, I think he got man of the match as well against Drogheda the week before.
3 in a row, I believe he's got man of the match.
It was effortless, some of the play that night against Drogheda as well. Like, and obviously you mentioned the goal even he scored against Pats the other night was excellent. It was a great finish. Like, you know, it's a really tough one. It's a tough one to get by their keeper, and he done it in fairness. Really good player. So yeah, he's a big player for Dundalk. Obviously they want to keep him fit over the next couple of games. He is obviously it's a funny thing, like it's 18, and he's probably Dundalk's biggest player at the minute. If you're going off obviously form. But look, if he's young, but he's also hungry, which can really, really carry a team, and we see that a lot these days with any sort of team. it's always the younger lads that seem to have that bit of a, obviously it's hunger and they want to do well or whatever. But especially Ryan O'Kane, he's a local lad. So he's a really good player and he'll want to.
Because let's be honest, Luke, Dundalk's one of the criticisms I have at Dundalk, even when they were successful. But we talk about clubs like Pats here and Derry, for example, even Drogheda, Bows and clubs like that. Dundalk don't really produce players, don't they? Not really. So it's refreshing to see Ryan O'Kane actually come through.
Yeah, it is, and even you look at the likes of David Adamosu came through Dundalk and left. You know what I mean? And people might say he came through with Drogheda, which he didn't. He actually came through with Dundalk and then went to Drogheda. I think when he did sign for Drogheda, there was probably talk that he was going to play 19s for a little while, but was thrown straight into the first team and took to it really well. But again, Ryan O'Kane is one of these lads, probably the most exciting talent to come through Dundalk in a long, long time, probably. I think a lot of Dundalk fans would agree with that. And yeah, you mentioned even if they'll keep holding him at the end of the season, look, it's hard to really know. Still quite young as well, but for him, he'll just be focused on getting the job done for Dundalk, getting them into Europe for next season, and obviously then he'll look at the end of the season. He's going to have options. I've no doubt in any world that there will not be clubs interested in him, because there will be. There will be a lot of clubs interested in him, and I think any player would want to have Ryan O'Kane their side at the minute. He's a really, really good player.
Prediction, Luke?
Go 1-0 Dundalk.
JP, you said Dundalk. Do you want to throw in a score?
2-0.
2-1. I think Harps might get one, but I think Dundalk will win as well. That's a full house in all the games so far, isn't it?
That means Harps are going to win.
What's going on here? Full house in all the games. That'll have to change. Drogheda to take on Shamrock Rovers on Sunday.
Gotta change now.
At the game park, and obviously Shamrock Rovers will be playing Molde, and I suppose Drogheda have experience of playing Shamrock Rovers after Europe, and they've had a few very interesting games actually against Rovers this year. To be fair, they've drawn with them after going behind late on at Tallaght Stadium. They've beaten them obviously at home, and then there was that cup game where it went to extra time and Rovers won. So there's been they've done quite well, actually, to be fair, I have to say, overall, Luke. I know Rovers won, I think 3-1 earlier on the season, isn't that right?
Yeah.
But overall, they've done very well against Rovers. And I think Drogheda are one of those funny teams where they can lose 3 or 4 in the bounce and then get a little run going together. You know what I mean? The goal they scored against Bowles, the first goal in 4 games, wasn't it? As well. So that was obviously a big boost as well. But Rovers, as we mentioned, had that brilliant win, no matter how you look at it, against Shelburne. It was a brilliant win. And for me personally, that done it for me. It's just, that type of game. That's one of those moments in the season where you go, look back and you probably say that's the time when they really won it, because they could have been 3 points or 2 points ahead of Derry going into this game. As it is, they have a chance now to go 8 points clear of Derry this weekend. I'll start off with Luke from a Drogheda perspective. What are you hoping to see? Obviously, they're safe now, but you want to see them finish the season well, don't you, to be fair?
Well, look, Shells are still there to be caught,
absolutely.
To be honest, Shells, if you look at our last three
there's only 2 points in it, between Drogheda and Shells.
And our last 3 fixtures after this are UCD, Shells, and Finn Harps. You know what I mean? So it's a serious opportunity. It is a serious opportunity. I think every game Drogheda playing now between now and the end of the season.
Fixtures I'd be looking at catching Bows as well.
Let's not get too. Look, you've got a point there, but look, it's brilliant. I'm obviously delighted, still over the moon after last week, staying up. It's just another great achievement. The management, the staff, everyone at the club we worked tirelessly to get that done, and it's done. We'll be playing in the Premier Division again next season for the 3rd successful season in a row, which is really good. It's really, really good. And you look at probably budget and all that. It's mentioned a lot in the last couple of weeks. The job that Kevin Dara are doing there is spectacular, to be honest. And look, hoping now that we can finish the season strong. We've got 4 games ahead and 4 opportunities, I feel, to finish the season strongly. If we get a result on Sunday against Rovers, be brilliant. But then the last 3 games are real opportunities to get results and to get wins, which would really end the season well. And if we can do that, then catch Shelburne. If we finish 7th, then it'd be unbelievable, because I do feel like Shells are still going to have that one eye on the cup, that type of way. If they win on Sunday, are coming. So yeah, look, big opportunities in the next couple of weeks. Rovers at home, it's a tough game, obviously. Champions, they're going to be pushing for that third one now, and they're close. Obviously, they are close, and if they keep plugging away and get results and not playing the best, they will win the league, of course. So yeah, look, hoping for the same sort of performance levels that we've seen against Bohs, of course, and then against Rovers in the last couple of games. That cup game as well, we were very unlucky, and I also felt like that night, that day in Tala, we could have won. To be honest, could have won that, and obviously the win in Head in the Game Park earlier on in the season was brilliant. So yeah, it's an opportunity. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll get JP's thoughts on Drogheda as well before we talk about Shamrock Rovers, because JP, like, you know, I won't say they've gone under the radar, but the fact is that Drogheda at the start of the season lost a very good manager in Tim Clancy. Let's be real, they lost a lot of very good players as well. You know, Mark Doyle is one that went to Pats, for example, Joe Redmond, Dan O'Reilly, Killian Phillips.
Back five. Losing a back five.
Connor Kane, James Brown, or Jimmy as they call him in Drogheda. Like, that's a lot of quality, including the management that they lost. So you'd have to give them a lot of credit for their recruitment. And Kevin Doherty maybe is a manager that goes under the radar a little bit. He's done a good job there, hasn't he, JP?
Oh, absolutely. They keep the team up with 4 games left. 15 points cleared at the second bottom team whenever you started the league. Look, I think, was it you lost your first 4 games?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes it even more impressive, and the job that he's done. And he's beat Shamrock Rovers. He's taken 3 draws against Derry. He's beat Dundalk.
Twice.
That's the top 3. Dundalk twice. He's beat Rovers. He's got 3 draws against Derry.
Yeah.
They just get a 1 against Pats.
No.
That's
Not
the
this
only
season. Not this season.
No.
Maybe next season.
You look at the results he's got again. It's not just he's picked up results against the bottom teams. He's done it against the top teams, and the recruitment was really good at the start. Like, say, Adam Foley coming in. It was Dara Markey brought in too, was he, or was he there last year?
Oh, he was there the season before, wasn't he? He was there the season before. Yeah.
Adam Foley coming in was a big signing. I know he's been injured some of it, like, but in terms of who they signed him from, was one of the teams that they would have been challenging at the bottom of the table. Signing the goalkeeper in the early part of the season, who's way back to Lincoln, was for me was very impressive. Saw him twice before he went back, and he was a really good shot stopper, and he was quick off his line and stuff like that. And
that was a long time ago when he was there.
It was, yeah.
Get out with them jokes.
I was thinking his name was long. I just wasn't sure whether it was or not. But I wasn't sure if he was the goalkeeper or the left back. I couldn't remember. It was Rowan was the left back, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
It was the recruitment process in the first part of the season was really good, and that built the stability, giving the platform to be able to go in, not really need as much surgery in the summer, and by the end they were already safe. Although Kevin Doherty wouldn't admit it, but obviously now 15 points clear, 4 games to go. They can rest and start planning for next year. But they as Luke touched on there, the 3 fixtures that they have left after this is a huge opportunity to finish high up the table, and it's one that they probably didn't expect at the start of the season, but they'll be relishing it now, and it's going to be a difficult start. But as we know, they've already beaten Shamrock Rovers this season in Head in the Game Park, and no reason why they can't do it again.
Yeah, from Shamrock Rovers' point of view, JP, surely if they win this weekend, it's nearly possible for Derry to catch them. They've a massive, what would you call it, collapse if Rovers were to win this weekend and not win the title.
I think this is crucial. Thought last week was crucial as well, but I think this is the crucial one now. If they win this game, I think that's it. But I think it's the only time before the end of the season where they will play before Derry. I think the rest of the games Derry play before them, so they'll want to put the pressure on Derry, because for the last 6-7 weeks Derry been putting the pressure on them. So they'll want to lay down a marker to Derry. Are you up for the challenge of trying to close this gap? And like Derry will play Sligo on the 24th, which will be our game in hand. So Shamrock Rovers will be saying to Derry, have you got the battle? Have you got what it takes? They take us to the second last game in Tala and see whether you're still in it or whatever. So if Shamrock Rovers win this one, I think a title over. But if they lost anything, they're going to give Derry a sniff.
Luke, prediction?
I'm going to go with a draw, you know that? Just going to go for it, lads.
JP, could easily be a draw. JP?
I think Shamrock Rovers will nick it.
So do I. So do I. So this is where we end the show, and this is where I suppose the only time someone's gone the other way with a different prediction, wasn't it, as well? So Drogheda will probably win this match as well. So good tactical play, Luke. Guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching back at home. Subscribe to the channel, hit your bell notification button. Let us know your thoughts. And once again, thanks for watching. Great.